Well, it's so good to be here again. It's always good to be here, especially in this era of Uncle Kuru. You know, I mean, it's happening so rapid, so fast, you know. It would be surprising that I don't show up and they say, oh, KSM Kra Wachi Kuru. I mean, it's getting that crazy. But there's a way out. There's a way to cope with it. Today, in the house, my special guest is Dr. Saso. And by the way, Dr. Saso is the first African to be trained in Vaidya. That's Ayurvedic medicine. And that's medicine about the life and sciences of, it's about life sciences, I'm sorry. And when it comes, he's going to explain to us what it means exactly. But we are lucky today to have him, you know, because there's so much stuff going on about Corona and how it's affecting people, and it's crazy, practically crazy, you know. One of the ways, apart from the protocols we know, wash your hands regularly and thoroughly, social distancing, and all of that, protocols we know, one very, 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 very important one that we should all keep aware is how to build up your immune system. Because you don't know how it will get to you, whether it's by droplet, whether it's by air, whatever it is. When it gets to you, trust me, if you have built your immune system, at least you have some strength to fight it. You know, in Italy, most of the people who were dying were people 80 and over, 70, you know, and as you grow old, I guess your immune system is not as strong, you know. So today, our guest, who, by the way, is also the founder and CEO of HealthWorks, and they do stress management, they do coaching, and they do lots of things. He was telling us about it, so I'm going to shut up now. Put your hands together. Show some love for Dr. Saso. The last time I could hug you now. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Peku.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, man.
I'm also very
because I was talking to my crew and I says, we usually hang out, entertainment stuff. And I said, this is not the time to hang out and do entertainment stuff. Let's spend some time to educate people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was thinking, who can I get to come in to talk to us about building our immune system? And I'm saying, Doctor, so welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Great.
I feel honored to be here also.
Oh, our pleasure and our honor. And folks, we're going to be learning a lot. I mean, call a friend to call a friend to call a friend, and tell them that Dr. Saso is in the house, and we're going to be learning a lot about how you can build your immune system in this very chaotic moments. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
We're back, and thank you very much for staying, and I'm glad you called people to tune in, because it's going to be a very, very important show. Doctor,
yes.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
Yes. But before we get into it, I've seen that you brought all your items to give us a
Yes.
Before we get into that, you are the first African to be trained in Ayurvedic medicine.
Yes.
And you are the one that's authorized to teach in that place in Africa.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all, let's be educated. What is Ayurvedic medicine?
Okay. Ayurveda comes from India. It is an ancient science. It's known to be the oldest medical practice in the world. It's over 5,000 years old.
So it's a medical practice, actually.
Yes, it's a medical practice. And Ayurveda simply means Ayu, life, and Veda is science or systematized knowledge. So the systematized knowledge of life, which helps first to those who are not sick, how to prevent sickness, and those who are sick, how to bring their mind-body back into a state of balance or homeostasis. Homeostasis is a Latin word. Homeo is home and stasis is stay. So it's like we are pressing your original state, the button to your original state.
Your natural state?
Restoring you to your natural state.
Okay.
And that helps you to actually express well-being, total well-being.
Okay. And I was listening to you and you used mind and, what do you say, mind and something?
Mind, body.
Mind and body.
Yeah.
The mind, explain to me about how the mind part comes in.
You see, what it is that this system, because it talks about the knowledge of life, starts by showing you what you really are. You are a triune being consisting of spirit, mind, and body. Okay? Now, spirit is the unseen part of you. Mind is the workshop of the spirit, where thoughts and feelings are fashioned and they are expressed through the body into our environment. And so normally we say that your environment is an extension of yourself. And that is what I think this current crisis we are in is beginning to tell us. Because we have acted in a certain way to affect our environment. And our environment is reflecting back to us the actions that we have taken. And it sounds unpleasant, but have you noticed that in all of these things, now we are being taught hygiene?
Yeah.
You know,
going back to the basics.
right?
Wash your hands.
You know,
Don't be too close when you cough, cover your mouth.
Formally, you know, a person coughs and he coughs.
Yeah, and then we say bless you when they sneeze.
You know, and also we are being told to eat healthily. You know, we are being told to reduce stress, and we are being told to sleep well, exercise sufficiently. And so it's like back to basics. Okay, and if it is back to basics, what are the real basics?
That's interesting. So it's like whatever we are going through is, in a way, has been caused by our behaviors and everything.
You see,
and this is the effect of it?
Yes. You see, let me tell you something. When we say our environment is an extension of ourselves, everything that you see out here is a creation, is a manifestation of someone's thought and action. This studio is a manifestation of someone's thought and action. And it is an environment of whose extension, whose creation, someone did. Okay? So if you create the environment, and the environment that you have created is a negative one, it impacts back on you because you are in that environment.
This is deep.
Yes. And that is what a lot of people are forgetting to see. You see, let me give you an example. Recently, there was a heavy rainfall, and we saw pictures, videos of a lot of plastic waste in some of the biggest gutters. Now, and we say, wow, this, but who caused it? Whose environment is it? It is our environment. It is not British or American. Or, it is we Ghanaians. We caused that. And we can't blame anyone for that. It is a collective responsibility. And that is why we need to educate ourselves, not only to take care of ourselves, but our environment. And as we continue, like with disease causation and other things, you will find out that you have a role to play with whatever disease or lack of ease that you feel.
I see. So in short, Corona is a reminder of things we have done,
of course,
to our environment.
Of course. You see, nature abhors a vacuum, and every cause must have an effect. So what we are seeing, has been caused. Someone set a cause in motion.
And that's the effect.
Yes. And so you see, in all that we are doing now, self-preservation.
Come back to the basics.
Self-preservation.
Yeah.
How do you preserve yourself? But instead of asking, how do you preserve yourself? Look at the world again. How do we make the world healthy again?
That's where we are now.
Yes.
Wow. I'm thinking of, there's this, I don't know, one-time comedian, his name is George Carlin. I don't know if, and he was doing allegedly a funny comedy routine, but he said something, as you're talking, I'm reminded of what he said. He said that when he sees many of us talking about we have to protect the environment, we have to do something about the environment, and we neglect it, he says, he finds it funny because the earth will protect itself.
Of course.
When it gets to a point where it feels that we who inhabit it are not protecting it, it will find ways to remind us that we need to be protected. That's something similar you're saying now.
Yes.
We're being like...
Kweku, let me give you an example. I did some internship in Ayurveda in India, and the professor I did the internship under asked me, he was with a friend of his who was a botanist.
A botanist.
A botanist. And he asked me, Sham, what is the major ailment in your country? And I said, malaria. And he chuckled. They had already planned to corner me. And he said, and how does malaria happen? And I said, the female Anopheles mosquito bites you and puts the pathogen into your system, and then it begins to incubate in the liver, and then it stops new blood cells from being multiplied, and therefore anemia sets in, and this goes on. And then he started laughing. He said, but what brings out the mosquitoes? See, I said the mosquito, and I left the environment.
You started with the mosquito.
Yes, and I left the
environment.
And
that breeds the mosquito.
Yeah, he said, the environment which breeds the mosquito, if you do not treat the environment, if you do not take the environment into consideration, see, all of us will buy mosquito spray. But if we have puddles of water in our areas, standing water, okay, we do not desilt them. You understand? You remember there was a fever, a kind of fever which went to America, and it was being fueled by mosquitoes. I remember I was in America at that time.
Yeah, I remember.
And along Long Island, I was visiting a colleague in Long Island, and everyone, including children, were looking for empty cans and emptying them and everything. You see? But over here, we are not being educated to get rid of standing water so that mosquitoes will not breed in there. But who caused that standing water? We caused it. And then the mosquito is an effect
of what we have caused.
Right.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And so if we want to treat malaria, and funnily enough also, he said, and you are waiting for WHO to bring you
the vaccine order.
Yes. Instead of looking at your situation and finding out how to resolve it, we begin to look outside. Who is coming to help us? And therefore, we have to begin to look around, because we have everything that we need to battle whatever it is. There is nothing new in this world. In fact, this pandemic is not the first time a flu-like virus, it's been occurring, it has about 100-year cycle. 1920. we had the Spanish flu, we had the bubonic plague, we had other plagues, okay, and it runs 100-year cycle. But you see, we are like the vulture. When it is raining, we say, I'll build my house. After the rain, forget about it. You know, so once there was no pandemic, everyone at theater, everyone asleep. Now, before we are all trying to do firefighting, you know. But
and now also because of social media, we are becoming more aware. Yeah, but
yes.
like we're talking years
Oh,
but then
of
we're
course.
just killing people,
Of
and
course.
they probably didn't know, understand why.
And if we look at our history, we should begin to ask ourselves, you know, how were the ancient people able to, you know, battle some of these things? And there are events in history. For instance, I read, I was not personally there then, but I read that during the plague, during that flu, they found out that houses where they had onion, okay, the people didn't get it. Because when you cut onion, it has a way of absorbing viruses. And so some people are advised to keep, you know, you peel the onion and cut it, the top and the bottom, and you place it on a sanitary pad or whatever, and then, you know, after some time, you just pick it and throw it away. You don't touch it. You throw it away, and it attracts viruses also. But they are telling us that this virus is not airborne, okay? But at least it needs air to carry it also, you know, because air moves everything in this world. If saliva is to come from your mouth to another, or when you sneeze, you know, it is air which will carry it in a way, okay? So we must be, that is why they are asking people to put on the masks and all that. You know, so we must let history guide us, our own story. Let us reflect and ask ourselves, it has happened before. What did we do? This seems to be a mutated virus. But then still we can begin to use what we know and then attack what we don't know. See, now with all of our knowledge of medicine, this little thing, you know, this little virus
has upset everything.
It has, you know, corona is crown.
Corona is crown.
Yeah, corona is crown. You know, so it's like, you know, the regal, the king virus, okay, showing up its head. And there are ways that we can boost our immune system, because what everyone is saying is that an immune system which is very strong is one of the first things that is needed to combat this virus. And that's why they felt that young people whose immune systems sometimes are very robust, but it's being proven that, well, you see, currently, a lot of people, the diet, okay, the diet is not healthy. We are using a lot of processed food. We are using a lot of sugar. We are having genetically modified food, and you know, it cuts across. Okay, so it depends. You know, like this virus is now known to be no respecter of persons, regardless of your age. It is because our immune systems have been compromised in a way.
Across the board,
Right.
all ages.
Yes, because there are older people who are getting well. Okay? Prince Charles had it, but you see, there is something. The last time I listened to the Queen of England give a talk, give a broadcast, and she mentioned some things: self-discipline, prayer, and meditation, besides the regular protocols. Self-discipline, prayer, and meditation. Self-discipline.
It's getting more exciting,
Yes.
but we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And so that when we come back, we go full force.
Okay.
Folks, I told you, and then I feel quite nice at flow. So we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we shall continue. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
We're back, and just before the commercial break, we're talking about the three very, very important points: self-discipline, prayer, and meditation.
Yeah.
That's what you said. So we're back. We're going to go back to Dr. Saso and take it from there. You were talking about how, go ahead.
Yeah, how the Queen of England, in her broadcast to the British people and the Commonwealth, and actually to the whole world, stressed on self-discipline, prayer, and meditation, besides the regular protocols. Okay? And self-discipline is number one. Self-discipline is training oneself. You see, a lot of times people think discipline is punishment. Remember in school, I'll discipline you. No. Discipline comes from to learn. Okay? Someone who is learning. So training yourself to focus on the ideal. Okay?
So there's a process of learning going on.
Right.
As part of being disciplined.
Yes. You are training yourself. You see, for instance, like this hand washing thing. Now people are reminding themselves. We are being told not to touch our faces.
Yes.
And you find out, you touch your face and say, but you have to now consciously think of not touching your face. You see, formally, everything goes.
Yeah.
But when you bring discipline, when you bring training into it, then you focus on the ideal. The ideal is not to touch your face. The ideal is to wash your hands. The ideal is to do some right things. Okay? Now, prayer is communion with God, communicating in union with God. Remember this. Communicating, communion means communicating in union with God. Now, we pray as if God is very, very far away. Okay? But Scripture tells us that we live and move and have our being in God. We are in God right now. Okay? But our sense of feeling separate and apart from God, our sense of I am the body, I'm not a spiritual being, I'm the body trying to do something to gain a spiritual life. No. You are a spiritual being going through a human experience. And what culminates our existence is to awaken from the mortal dream, the dream of being human, into I am a divine being. And that is what this whole gamut of creation is about. And we can achieve that communion in union through meditation. Meditation is being still. You see, a lot of times, Kweku, we allow our religious denominations to limit us from something which is normal, natural to us. See, when you tell your average religious person, and I'm being very honest with you, I've traveled all over the world.
And people should also know that you are an ordained reverend.
Yes.
And we'll get to that later. But
You see, I've traveled all over the world. Well, you would think that, when they talk about meditation, maybe in India, go to India and ask how many people meditate there. You'll be shocked. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't know that there is meditation in Catholicism. Okay? You go to other places and, the Red Indians know how to meditate. In fact, our traditional people, meditation is something that, withdrawing your attention so that you may rest in spirit. That is meditation. But now, you have two types of it. There is meditation which leads to spirituality, and there is meditation for well-being, which has now been researched in most of the major universities all over the world. Okay? And it is known to boost the immune system. And that was why the Queen was mentioning it, because meditation is now proven to boost the immune system. And
wow.
Yes, I'm going to shock you right now. I wrote it down. It says, from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31, it says, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Your immunity is your strength. Your immune system is your strength. Okay? Now they say, you shall renew it. Because they knew then that waiting on the Lord is meditation.
And what is the act of waiting on the Lord? Is it?
You see, it says, be still and know that I am God. That is meditation. When you are using meditation to attain spirituality, you go to Kings, and it talks about Elijah, okay, when he went to wait to see how he can experience God. They said the thunder came, lightning came, and God was not in them. And then God was in the still small voice. That still small voice is audible. That is what, when you read the book of Acts, the disciples of Jesus, they said a sound as of a rushing mighty wind. They said a sound as of. It was not a rushing mighty wind, but as of, like a rushing mighty wind. And you can hear it when you meditate, when you are doing it spiritually. Okay? There is a way we call progressive relaxation that is done for medical purposes, but and stress reduction. If you want to go further, then you will begin to focus on light and sound. It has been said, if the eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. How can the eye be single? It is through a process of concentration. When you hear that internal sound and you focus on it, it leads you into the realm of spirit. Not seeing apparitions, because spirit has no body. It is bodiless and not manifest. Okay? So spirit is nothing that you can see. Spirit is nothing that has shape or form. It is pure consciousness.
I'm following you now, and it gets to a point where, as you said, you're going to surprise me, because it gets so deep.
Sure.
I'm looking at, okay, somebody's watching, who has the virus,
Yeah.
or somebody wants to protect themselves from the virus. How do they apply everything you're saying? Meditation is either going to be well-being or to be spiritual.
Yes.
It gets like a lot of information.
Sure.
Where's your direction now to those who are listening?
Okay, you see, first and foremost, you have to start from where you are to get to where you want to go. Okay? So let us start first with the discipline, the training of ourselves to do some basic essentials. In Ayurveda, in the science of life, we have something we call daily regimen. I don't want to use technical terms. Daily regimen. Okay? Now, when you wake up in the morning, you need to cleanse your face, wash your face, first and foremost. Wash your face, and then there are some cleansing routines that you need to do. Okay? Now, I have here a dental floss. Dental floss is a string that is used to cleanse in between the teeth. Okay? You use a dental floss, you roll it around your fingers, your forefingers, and you use it so that if you have food particles that have been lodged in between the teeth, you can take them out. Then we have a tongue scraper. You see the coating on your tongue. Now, a lot of people don't know that the coating on their tongue, when you examine it, shows exactly what is in your digestive system. If the coating is black, it means that maybe you are constipated. Your large intestine is dry. When it is yellowish and reddish, it means that there's too much heat in your system. When it is too white, when the coating is white, it tells you that there's a lot of phlegm in your system. But how many people examine this? Okay? Now, the coating on the tongue does not go away with the brushing of your tongue. You need a tongue scraper, or if you don't have a tongue scraper, a teaspoon. Okay? So you go to the back and scrape the tongue forward, and then use water to flush it, or you use this, scrape it, and you do that. Now, there is another one. This is a pot. In fact, recently, if you watch CNN, because we have all been cloistered, so to speak, CNN has been showing a lot of natural health regimes, and nasal cleansing is known to be one of them. Now, but to do proper nasal cleansing, you first need to warm up this receptacle. Okay? So I have some hot water in here. Now, I will pour a little bit of hot water in here to warm this pot up. Now, I don't want you to touch it because
it's hot.
and then you pour it out. Now, then you mix a teaspoonful of salt, or for our purpose, because I had to mix it in a glass of water. So in this, I will mix it in this. I have our sea salt here. Not the table salt, but our sea salt. Apo. Adan salt. Adan salt will get finished. They should bring us some revenue. So we mix this.
So what's the first step? You warm the...
Yeah, you warm the pot.
Okay.
And then you mix this, and I'm going to add a little bit of lukewarm water to it because this is hot. If you do it very hot, it can... Now, so I'll bring this here so that I demonstrate it for all to see. Now, I'll pour this lukewarm water, saline water, okay, into this pot. Yep, it's saline. And then I will I'll put it in the dose and tilt it like this. And then I go, and then I turn over and tilt it like this. Okay? Now, then also, after you finish, then you gargle. The saline water, you gargle.
For how long do you gargle?
Now, you gargle for not less than 20 seconds.
So what's this whole procedure? What do you just do?
The saline water also kills viruses. And so now, you see how free the nasal passage is? Now they tell us that the virus enters, because the nasal passageway is one of the places where they check. So if the nasal passageway is clean, and then it lodges into the throat before it goes into the lungs. So if you can keep the nasal passageway, clean, and also your throat clean, is like an effective way of saying, hold it there. Okay? Now, then there are things that we also do. Every morning when you wake up.
So this is supposed to be a daily routine?
Yeah, daily routine. Kweku, daily routine. You see, that is the discipline. A lot of people say, how can I do all of these things?
I thought you do it maybe if you have a congestion or something.
No. Preventive. You see, we talk about prevention. Why wait? You see, that is what we have all done to compromise our immune systems. See, now that the virus is here with us, we are thinking, what can I do? It's like sometimes people come, they have become very obese and they have a function, okay? In 2 weeks' time, when they come, oh, doc, can you do something for me to lose about 20 kilos in 2 weeks? I say, man, why? Would you take me to be a magician or what? You should make it your lifestyle. It is a lifestyle regime. See, sometimes I will not tell you the physical age, but Kweku, you've known me for some time. And you always tell me, what do you do? Yeah, you always ask, what do you do? This is what I do.
Every morning?
Yes. My daily routine, I leave home every day at 3 a.m. I drive to my clinic, and the reason is dual. One, to escape the traffic from the mountain to Accra. Okay. Two, if I say I'm going to do all my exercises at home before coming, the traffic will catch me. I'll be caught up in traffic. So I leave home by 3:30. I'm at the clinic. And then I go for an early morning walk. I come in, before anything, I'll do my morning devotion and then do nasal cleansing and this, and then come on an early morning walk for about an hour. And I walk briskly. And as I walk, what I do is this. I do it as a communion with nature. You know that the trees out there give us oxygen, and we give them carbon dioxide. So we are interdependent on one another. Okay? So I say, okay, as I breathe in, thank you, trees, and as I breathe out, I'm giving back to you something that you have given me that you need. Okay? And so it's like a joyous walk, a brisk walk. And as I do that breathing consciously, I find out that, I kind of decarbonize my blood. My lungs feels okay because I have cleansed the nostrils and sanitized the throat area my whole body feels very, very rejuvenated by the time I get back. And then I prepare to meet my clients. I start work at 6 a.m. Some of my clients think I live at my workplace.
They don't know you've come from.
Right. So sometimes when they tell me, oh, I come from Tema, I say, my friend, me too, I come from Ebri. They say, what? I thought you live here. I said, no, I have trained myself to follow this protocol.
Yeah. So you've trained yourself to go through this routine?
Yes.
Every day?
Every day, Kweku, every day. And you see, when I get back, then what we do is that I'm going to teach you something. You know, from time to time, you see on social media water therapy. Look, sometimes we pick things without investigating them properly. But one thing that I would like to tell you is that when you want to learn anything, go to an expert in that field and learn from them. That is the only way you can get correct information. You see, we all have different body types. If you measure 16 handfuls of water from your palm, you know how we, if you measure 16 handfuls, it fills you, Kweku, your particular stomach. So if someone comes and he says that drink 2 liters, let's say George Foreman and you, look at the size of George Foreman and look at your size, and you are asked to drink 2 liters. Maybe George Foreman may be able to drink 2 liters, but I doubt if you can drink 2 liters. You understand? And if you don't take care, you compromise your kidneys. Because too much or too little water compromises the kidneys. And so 16 handfuls of warm, like you measure it, but you drink it warm, and you can add some lemon to it. And not only the lemon juice, clean the lemon well and put the lemon slices, because the rind, and it all, you take the seeds out and you put them in it. And I'm tempted, because we don't know, a lot of people, our honey is compromised, okay? But one of the best things to do is you can add a little bit of honey to it. Now I'm giving you one of the ways to boost your immune system, okay? Now, I use that early in the morning. I drink warm water like tea, okay? And then 16 handfuls, okay? Like, so I measured
what's a handful? Handful of
16, yeah. You see, like if you are, you open your tap, and then you put the receptacle, you just gauge 16, and then you gauge where it will be at, okay? So that you know that, okay, my 16 handfuls is either full of this or half or whatever, okay? And then every day, that is what will fill your particular stomach. Now, then you add the lemon. You can add one whole lemon. You cut it into 2, and you squeeze it, and then you slice it, and you put it in. And then you can add a little bit of honey. If you are diabetic, stay off the honey, because you don't know whether it is new or old honey. Be on the safe side, okay? Now, I add, I take a little bit of what we call akukobesa, or holy basil, about 2 or 3 black peppercorns, then ginger, turmeric, and garlic, and I chew them. So when I chew, and all of these things are immune boosters, I chew them and then drink this first thing in the morning.
Is that what they call the water therapy?
You see, you are applying the water therapy, but you are doing it to boost your immune system. That is why I've added these things. They are all, if you search, the lemon is an immune booster. Okay, it has a lot of vitamin C. Honey is also known to be an antiseptic. It also helps to calm your body down. Okay, the black pepper corn and the black pepper corn, the round black pepper corn, so it's also antiseptic and also it's a cleanser. Garlic, ginger, and turmeric. Turmeric is also in the ginger family. You know, they are also immune boosters. So you see, in the morning, drinking this, you are ready to roll. Okay. After that, after 45 minutes or so, then I have some fruits. You see, I've gone from liquid to semi-liquid now. And then maybe later on, if I can have some porridge, but my body feels so energetic that, you know, you don't have the porridge. And then you eat your main meal between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. because that is the time that your digestive system is at its height to be able to digest the food well. Because the food that you eat has to go through certain processes. After you digest the food, it has to go into your stomach, not your intestines. So it goes into the stomach first, and then it has to go into the small intestine for digestive enzymes to mix them, and then it will separate the fluid from the waste material, and then we have what we call chyle, which turns into plasma. In Ayurvedic medicine, we say the body has 7 tissues. Plasma, then it will turn into blood, and it will turn into muscle, and then fat, bone, marrow, and then the last is the reproductive tissue. And when it is able to go through all of these things as the reproductive tissue, then it builds your immune system. It stores as your immune system. You see? So you will find out that they tell us that if you do not eat well, if you do not eat nutritious food, you will not have proper chyle to turn into plasma and blood and muscle and fat. You understand? Or sometimes it gets to the fat, and because it is all fat, it just balloons, and it cannot transform itself into the other tissues. You see? So this is how our immune system is compromised, because we are not eating the foods which will enhance our physical and mental well-being.
So these are the basic processes we go to build our immune system?
Yes, yes.
Wow. So it's not like exactly like you said, somebody will come and say, Doc, I need to lose so-and-so kilos because I have a party. It's a regiment that you go through?
Yes. You see, whatever you eat, know that you are eating to live. You are not living to eat. You see, if you are eating to live, then you ask yourself, what is it that I'm putting in my mouth? And is it going to build my immune system or compromise my immune system?
Wow.
This is how a disciplined person lives.
Wow. Doc, let's leave it right there. It's getting very, very exciting. And folks, trust me, we have to continue this. We cannot finish with the doc now, because I feel in some over head. So we're going to end here, but next week tune in, because right here we're going to do a part 2 for next week. So next week, make sure you come back so that we complete what you have started. In the meantime, just stick around. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
Folks, man, we have come to the end of this show for this week, and I'm saying right here, we're going to make sure that next week we put everything to that, because it's all about how we build our immune system in this era of coronavirus. So let me say a big thank you to all those that are proudly associated with us. I'm talking about Irata Motors, I'm talking about Cactus Creek, and of course, Paul's is on break, but I am talking about Paul's as well. So in the meantime, in between time, we're going to sign off, and I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you who are always with this program, because it is your love that keeps this program numero uno. I'd like to say a big thank you to my guest, Doctor. We are here next week.
Sure.
And to all of you at home, we are out of. Until next week. Yay.